to episode 2 of Spilly Cave's show, my podcast. I hope everyone's having a great week. I'm having a good week. You know, it feels good to be on a schedule again. I talked about last week, I'm finally back from tour, doing the regular old thing, drinking Celsius, hanging out, maxing, relaxing, making videos, writing music, playing video games. That's the best things in life, music and video games. That's why I made this podcast, to talk about kind of my two favorite things. So, if you're new here, we always start out first with the music, and then we talk about video games after, okay? So I wanted to say, if you are someone who has some kind of sponsorship and you want me to talk about an ad, I got space. I'll run ads in the middle of this. So if you're a brand or something like that, you like what I do, you want to throw me a bone, I'll talk to you, reach out to me. My email's in the link in my bio, okay? So reach out to me. We'll get some ads in here, all that kind of good stuff. But anyways, without further ado, this is the show. It is me, Spilly Cave, here, hanging out. Just got off work. I have a part-time job cleaning trash bins. I like it. It's good for now. No record deals yet. But it is funny. It's a nice dichotomy. I'll talk about what kind of musically happened this past week. The biggest thing that's just absolutely nuts is that Anthony Fantano of the Needle Drop made a video recommending me to people on TikTok, which was just a bit stupid and insane. I just couldn't believe it. That is someone, I'm actually, as far as the industry goes, I'm not super familiar with his work. I know he's very well known, probably the most well-known music critic in the world. So, my brother loves him to death. So that's just feels insane. He made just a little video saying my vibes were immaculate. And so Anthony Fantano, thank you, dude. That was crazy. It was such a strange thing because that same day, with a band I play in who I love dearly, Schwan Rice, we went, it was a very rainy, dreary day. And we played this, music festival and outdoors festival called Little Buffalo Festival in Pennsylvania. And there was no one there because it was just the worst weather. They do it rain or shine, though, and so we played a 2-hour set to about 6 people. And so it was, I felt like the universe, it was this nice humbling, this nice, kind of message to myself, whether it just be arbitrary or meaningless or random, that, hey, man, okay, Fantano shouted you out, but you're still playing, a festival to no one, playing a 2-hour set with no one's listening. And that's just interesting. I thought that was just a nice kind of funny antithesis to the day. Because on one hand, I'm like, my phone's exploding. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And then I'm just playing with all my best friends, jamming to no one in the rain. And that was beautiful. And, that's one of my favorite groups to play in of all of them. Schwan, if you haven't checked out Schwan the Wonton, Schwan Rice is a New Orleans musician. She's absolutely fantastic. I've known her probably 8 years now. Just R&B and soul and that kind of thing. She's amazing. Just absolutely amazing. So, yeah, that was that. As far as the music goes with kind of what I've been up to, besides recording, I'll talk about that as well. I've been trying to kind of just fool around with, so the album is finished. I guess I'll start off with that. And I'm really liking, it's strange having one piece of work done while you're also kind of starting to look at new horizons, new kind of sonic frontiers, you could say, that I'm trying to expand into. And I've always been, as far as inspiration goes, my biggest inspiration has always been, bands like King Gizzard and Lizard Wizard, where there's a central sound, there's this sonic core that you always know it's them, but they have this freedom to kind of branch off and explore new avenues in a way that I think is really amazing and kind of what I strive for, because I don't ever want to just be locked down by one sound. As much as I love doing what I do, I love doing other stuff. Having, studied jazz for so long, that's kind of part of the training of that, is that you're never kind of locked down. You're always pulling from different genres, right? And I think a lot of people, too, they don't have necessarily that training to be able to kind of branch out. And so they're kind of locked down to this one type of playing, which is amazing. They might be the best in the world at it. However, they might not. For me, I'm someone who I get bored really easily. I need to branch out. I need to find some new path sometimes, some kind of new sonic quality, whether it be harmonic or rhythmic or whatever. I got to always be experimenting, So with the album being done, and that will be out when it's out. Okay, I'll trust me. There'll be a big social media campaign for it. You will know when it's coming out. It won't be some random surprise. But that is kind of the gist of it. When I'm exploring these new sounds, especially from a harmonic standpoint, and if you're any of you listening are musicians, for me, like one thing that's been really hitting me really hard is just the shifts between the parallel major and minor, and especially the parallel major, minor, and the parallel Lydian, I think are just really amazing. And for, if you were explaining that in layman's terms, just kind of, if you're going from, there's the parallel major, the parallel minor, and the relative major and minor. So to give those just a classic example, that would be happy and sad, major and minor, right? Now the thing is, though, the parallel minor is like you have two different people, one's smiling, one's frowning, and you switch between them, right? Okay? Now the relative major and minor is if you have the same person, and you can kind of have the happiness and the sadness within yourself, because it's all the same notes. It's all the same notes. So that's kind of, I think, the best way. It's hard to explain musical theory terms in a way that is just kind of colloquial, but I think it's really important. I think it's an important thing because I think there's this kind of mystic idea of, and this kind of hyper-technical idea of music theory that just doesn't have to be there. I think a lot of people see music theory as this kind of unnecessary, elitist kind of thing, which I don't think it has to be that. I think there's been a lot of people that have portrayed it that way and given it that negative kind of feeling because they've used their knowledge to make people feel inadequate, which is always the worst way to go when it comes to knowledge, right? That's the last thing you're supposed to do with knowledge. And so for me, I think one thing, my goal is not just a musician, but also a musical educator, is to find new ways in which to bridge the gap of helping people understand theory, because it's all just descriptions of things we hear with our ears, right? There's nothing magical there. I think the cool thing about theory, too, once you break it down a little bit and demystify it, and destigmatize it, is that you realize that music theory is actually, it's a door open rather than a door closed, because it takes away this idea that just, you have to be special to make music. Some people just get it. And there's always going to be those people. Look at athletes. There's always that person that's just like, like LeBron. Oh, yeah, he's just amazing. But that's not 99.9% of people. And I think music theory, you don't have to rely on luck, which I think is really amazing. It allows people, you can realize that, wow, music isn't just this magical thing. It can be, but it's not just this magical thing that you're either bad at or you're good at. It's something you can work on and get better at and learn more about. And the more you understand it and have this encompassing view of the mechanics of it, you can teach yourself how to be a better musician, which is amazing. And I think myself as an example, I've never been someone that's just really good at something off the bat. There are people I've met in life that, like musicians, athletes, mathematicians, people that love science, that they just picked it up as a kid and were just amazing. There was just something special there. That wasn't me. Everything I've done in life has always been just out of pure, tyranny of will and love. And for me, music theory and the mechanics of music and ear training was how I got to the point I was today. There's this natural inclination to love music, of course, because my dad loved music. He grew up, I was always listening to music, so I wanted to be good at it. But when I picked it up, I wasn't just good at it. I wasn't a natural. What I did was I loved it so much that I wanted to learn. And I had such an amazing teacher that made music not scary, but this thing that I could explore endlessly, and it would carry me for the rest of my life as always having something to love and learn about. And so I think people could really, really benefit from, musical theory training in a way that has nothing to do with just pure mathematics, but actually relating it to what your ear hears, because that's all this stuff is. It's just someone hearing something. Oh, this sounds good. Okay, let's put a name to it. Oh, okay, it's related to this thing. Okay, why does it feel that way? So I think that's just, I've been actually writing a script recently for an upcoming video that I want to do, just kind of talking about music theory in a positive way, in a way in which you can kind of express it and talk about it in a way that is just unlocking and not restraining whatsoever. Once you learn and once you train your ear, the whole tapestry of sound becomes this brand new. Oh my God, it's just the best. It's the best feeling because you can hear something. You can listen to a song and you can hear every part of it and you can understand. It's like you're looking at like a nice weaved blanket, but you get to see every thread. Even though it's you're looking at it from 20 feet away, somehow you can piece together every thread and see why that piece of art is the way it is. That's music theory. It's that ear training, that understanding of the mechanics allows you to listen to a tune, and it's like you get to listen to the tune, you get to look at the finished painting, but it's also like you can look at all the strokes the painter did, right, in the process, and it's this amazing thing, and the thing is, it's not just locked down to people that are special. It's something that can be learned and taught, and and once you have it, it's just like, oh, wow, let's show everyone this. I hope everyone gets to have this feeling if you want to, and if you don't want to, of course you don't have to. Of course not. Why, I would never. You don't have to do this. I mean, there's amazing musicians that never study theory, but if you have that curiosity, if you have that drive and that feeling of like, oh, I just want to get it, it's not magic. It is mechanical to a certain extent. Now, the way you put together those pieces, that's where the art comes in, But there are pieces. People like to say, I just want to explore. Well, I know what you're exploring, okay? And that's the beautiful thing is you can really unlock yourself and unlock your ear and unlock your world and just kind of go into a whole new world. And it's amazing. It truly is just the best thing. But that's, my favorite thing about music. Is theory. It is the ear training. It is just trying to comprehend further and further why things sound the way they do, and what are new ways in which we can piece together this wonderful, wonderful collection of sound waves. So that's, I don't know, not to soapbox it too much, but I really do. It's something I very, very strongly believe in, and I think it's so important, that we demystify music theory, and we shouldn't be, there's no elitism about it too. It's just, I think people don't really ever learn anything about what it really is, and they think, it's just like only nerds or only assholes who think they're better than people learn music theory. It's like, no, it's genuine love of the art, and it's this, and people use knowledge for wrong, as history has proven time and time again. People will take something beautiful like music theory or knowledge of anything and use it to make other people feel inadequate, which is not right. That's not cool. But oh well. All we can do is try to use our own power and our own knowledge to enlighten people and help people learn in the right way, if we have that knowledge. And this is, everyone has their place in which they have some knowledge. I have knowledge in music. That's what I know. That's what makes sense to me. I'm lucky in this life. That's the thing that clicks. Like most other stuff and things, I have no fucking clue. I have no idea. But I think I know a bit about music, and I think it's good. You should, if you know a lot about something, I think you also owe it to yourself to, spread that knowledge of what you can. There's no secrets with me. People are always surprised when I show them like my Logic files and my mixing chains. I'm like, why? If you can be better with me than by seeing what I did and not by my brain, then I've failed. Like, you should be better than me, or you should succeed more than me. I don't care. That's not why I'm in this. Music isn't a business to me. I feel like Michael Scott, like in The Office when he starts his own paper company, and David Walsh is like, we know you don't have the money, and Michael's just like, well, then I'll just start another paper company, and another paper company, and another, and then David Walsh goes, Michael, and he goes, that's one of them. That's one of the names. That's kind of how I feel about music. Like, you can't treat art like business. It's so lame. Like, business is stupid. It has nothing to do with art. Business is business. But it's not essential to the human experience. It's not enlightening to the way in which you live and thrive. Oh, God, I could go on about art for hours. It's the best. And that's what makes sense to me. I know nothing about anything else. I'm not, I read a lot. I like reading. But music is the only thing that really clicked. That's the thing that felt like, oh, this is what I do. This is how I can kind of have some kind of say in this universe that oftentimes feels so chaotic and all-encompassing that any sort of viewpoint for myself kind of seems arbitrary, because especially in today's landscape, everyone's just trying to have their take, or even be on the right take side. When I'm like, I try to stick to what I know, and try to only say things if I think they're helpful to other people, but yeah, that is really the core of it. But that is kind of the core of it. So with that being said, I think that's a natural endpoint to part one, of the podcast, which is always about music, about kind of whatever I'm thinking about with music. First off, what's going on in my life as a musician, with everything that happened to me, and then also kind of what I've been thinking about. I've been thinking about theory a lot, So next we'll talk about the games. What have I been playing? What's been going on? Because I've played a lot of video games. It's something in my life that has always been this grounding experience of just, I love it so much. They're my favorite art form. They're so fucking sick. Now, not much new came out this past week. I kind of caught up last week for the podcast. I talked about kind of everything I was playing over the summer, kind of to recap there. But this week, I finally upgraded from the Switch Lite, which I've had for years, to the Switch OLED. So I can finally play Switch on my TV. I can finally switch the Switch, which feels sick. It's awesome. But anyways, I haven't played Breath of the Wild since it came out back in 2017. 5 years. Can you believe that? It's been 5 years since Breath of the Wild. And honestly, I've been waiting for this day because my memory of it, I never did multiple playthroughs. I played through it once, thought it was one of the best games ever made. Haven't touched it since, which I'm so thankful I did that. Because, when Tears of the Kingdom, the follow-up to Breath of the Wild, was announced, I was like, oh, okay, maybe I should do a replay. Maybe I should go back through. Because I've kind of forgotten a lot. I forgot so much that even on the plateau you start on, the Great Plateau, I forgot about all the stuff you could do there and how much time you could spend there. Even Kakariko Village, I forgot how much was going on there. So there's so much of that wonderful, magical game that I've forgotten that I was excited to go back into it and rediscover and re-explore and go through again. And that's what I've been doing before bed. It's been incredible. It turns out that game is known as one of the greatest games ever made for a reason. The way in which exploration is valued, not only as a marketing point, but as a fundamental core experience to your, time playing the game, is just so magical still to this day. Because the only thing that's come close to it is Elden Ring, which I think Elden Ring matches it for me. I think a first playthrough of Elden Ring, Breath of the Wild, I had that same feeling. That was like, wow. Okay, so those are definitely two of my favorite games. But Breath of the Wild, I haven't forgotten so much. It's nice because I sometimes wondered, after Elden Ring came out this year, I was kind of like, is Breath of the Wild? Because Elden Ring hit it out of the park so hard. That game, from just a combat perspective, I had so much fun with all the different builds. And then, let alone the exploration, which kind of had scratched that same Breath of the Wild itch, which I think was still first initiated by games like, Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind and Oblivion. And Bethesda sort of lost their way. I think they've gone more and more towards crafting and systems versus just the joy of kind of storytelling throughout the world. But we'll see. We'll see with Starfield. I really hope for the best with Starfield. But so I was wondering after I played Elden Ring, I'm like, I wonder how, if I went back to Breath of the Wild, how would this feel? Would Elden Ring just kind of eat its lunch and be like, oh wow, okay, this is the next step? Or would Breath of the Wild be way better? I just didn't know. You go back to these things. It's interesting how time can cloud your perception of quality, and also your memory is faulty. We all have very faulty memories. And so I remembered my feelings at the time. I was like, wow, this is like the Breath of the Wild is like one of the greatest games ever made, obviously. But time moves on, and until Elden Ring, I mean, the crazy thing, and it's honestly sad as far as the industry goes, how fresh this game still feels. I haven't forgotten so much of it. I just going back in, I'm like, yes, this is how games should be. This is good. This is finally, because it's hilarious that besides Elden Ring, nothing's gone in this manner, because it's hard to do. That's why it is. And it's not necessarily profitable if you fumble it. Look at, what was that? Immortals Phoenix Rising, which had a way better name before they changed it. It was the Ubisoft kind of Breath of the Wild clone. That game just had no really soul to me. I played through the first like 5 hours, and it just seemed like Breath of the Wild without the mystery, without the mystique. And so, going into Breath of the Wild this time, starting out in the Shrine of Resurrection, right? Coming out, getting your Sheikah slate, talking to the old guy that ends up being the king. Spoilers for the very beginning of Breath of the Wild if somehow you haven't played it yet. Sorry. And then all that time, like learning to cook, learning to fish, learning how to chop down trees, learning all of your different Sheikah slate powers at the different shrines on the Great Plateau. Fighting, I forgot about the one rock elemental up there I got to take down, which was super fun. You have to hit it with the weak spot with your arrows and jump on and just clobber that thing. Learning all of that, and then finally getting your glider. And it's crazy. The chills ran down my spine. I still felt the same way, jumping off the Great Plateau and just gliding down to the plains of Hyrule. Just wow. Wow. Magical. Magical. And the way that game displays all of its mechanics and the ways in which it's going to dialogue with you, the player, of how you should be playing this, but also how you can use those tools to not do what the developers want, is just so, if there's any lesson people take on game design, it's this one. It's the intro to Breath of the Wild. I think even more so than Elden Ring, because Elden Ring, it's from software game. It's kind of a little bit of a joke on you. It's a lesson the way a stern father tells a lesson, which is, hey, the boss is right out front. Hey, guess what? He keeps kicking your ass. Maybe you don't fight him anymore. Maybe this is us telling you to go explore. It's a bit more obtuse in a way I love, but I can see definitely not being up to everyone's cup of tea. Whereas, Breath of the Wild, wow, that is a game where it absolutely tells you everything you need to know about the way the rest of the game will be played. It is this true distillation of that entire gameplay experience in a way that's just so magical. I keep using the word magical, maybe overusing it, but it's just how it makes me feel. It's like I can't even believe this thing's programmed. It feels like it has a life of its own. And then to speak, I always like to start with positives. If I were to do any negatives, because I have been, kind of critiquing it a little bit more this playthrough than I did the first time, where I was just kind of awestruck the whole time, was I'm not a huge fan of the combat. I'm going to be honest. It's not my favorite part. I still don't like the weapon durability. If I can, I sneak around enemies and just try to do what I can to not deal with them. But oh well, it is what it is. I think it's not a point of the game where I think it's bad or, not quality or something like that. It's just, it's not my favorite part of the game or the gameplay experience, so that's been basically what I've been playing. I think I've gotten to, is it Hateno Village? The part where you kind of talk to the lady that shrunk herself down, and she's like, did the Benjamin Button thing. She took the serum. Now she's like 6 years old. Still haven't killed any divine beasts or anything like that, or not killed the divine beasts, but reclaimed them, uncorrupted them. But just been kind of exploring around, taking my time with it. Just fucking hanging out and chilling, just walking around. Got a horse, tamed a couple horses. Been doing some cooking, just kind of really soaking up the atmosphere of that game. And also I've been taking some routes that I remember I've never seen. There's still stuff I never saw. I'm so happy I didn't play that game to death when it came out, because now I'm in this place where I can just really soak up the sights and be surprised again. It feels amazing. It's so wild how fresh that game still feels. And it's really sad that it does. Honestly, I wish that we had more experiences like that, but it's also so special. And that's why I'm so excited in May for Tears of the Kingdom, because it's been 5 years. I think they're just going to knock it out of the park again, I hope. I am curious, just because the Switch is starting to show its age a little bit. That hardware is not the strongest. I've been playing a bunch of Switch lately, and while first-party Nintendo games, for the most part, look really great, except Link's Awakening, that has some slowdown. I do think, as far as upping the ante, it kind of feels like Breath of the Wild kind of pushes the Switch to its max. Still has some crazy frame drops in there, just walking through fields and forests. And so I am curious. Now, I don't care about the graphics as much as the art design, but I do wonder from a systems standpoint, just at the system level, what can they add without kind of making that hardware crash and burn? All as great as the OLED looks, that hardware is still the same in there. And so I'm curious if there's going to be a Switch 4K or something like that. I don't think there is, just because it's kind of such an awkward timing. If they would have done it, I feel they would have done it this year or last year, not next year. It being at 5 years, I feel like at 6 years, you might as well just put out a new console then. I do think that Switch or Nintendo shouldn't do like some kind of new. I hope they do the Switch too. That's what I hope. The Super Switch. That's what I want. That's really what I hope for. But we'll see. I think it's going to be amazing. I love Tears of the Kingdom. God, if we got Tears of the Kingdom in May and then a new Mario next fall, yeah, that's it. That's 2023 is goated. It's already been such an amazing year for games. And it's been kind of fun before this kind of, we got God of War coming up in the fall, in November. Call of Duty, which I'm going to play the hell out of. It's going to be a blast. Really excited for Plague Tale Requiem. And then that's about it. Is there anything else with Super Set? Oh, Mountain Blade, Bannerlord's finally coming to consoles, which will be a good time. But yeah, so that's basically it. That's kind of the crux at what I'm really excited for. And what I've been playing, well, on Switch anyways. So I've been playing a lot more Smash Bros. As well. Smash Ultimate, which I never played any of the DLC characters. So I'm like, what have I been doing with myself? And I know Story just came out this year, but it turns out Pyra and Mithra from Xenoblade Chronicles 2 are fucking amazing. They're so sick. Oh my god, they're such a fun duo. I've been having a blast playing as them. I really like Pyra the best. Mithra's agility is sick, but some of her Pyra's charges and her tilt attacks are just fucking amazing. She has this one spinning blade one that's like, and you throw out the blade, it goes. Sorry, that's me. So that was a really excellent audio explanation. But yeah, so playing some Smash. I got to play Neon White, just because I don't have a gaming PC. I only have a MacBook Pro. So I couldn't play Neon White, which is Benjamin Esposito, I believe, who the developer of Donut County, which if you haven't played Donut County, it's very fun. It's adorable, just simple, quick game. Pump out, finish it in 4 hours or so, 4 or 5 hours. One of the absolute best soundtracks of all time. Ben Esposito did the score, but mainly Daniel Costner did the score, which is Donut County just has one of the best soundtracks of all time. And wow, big shocker, so does Neon White. So Neon White, just to kind of break it down a little bit, is a speedrunning, Quake-inspired, Counter-Strike, like agility map, Titanfall 2 agility map inspired game. First-person shooter, deck builder. It's got a lot going on, plus anime nonsense. Which I don't love the writing. I gotta be honest. I've been skipping that dialogue. I've been going, bam, right past it. Have not been super in love with the writing, but it's been a little too anime edgy for my tastes. But I'm not saying it's bad. If that's your thing, I'm sure you'll enjoy it. But I couldn't tell you what's going on in the story. I know I'm in heaven. I'm trying to get some gate. And I'm crushing times. I am acing every mission, baby. That's all I know, is I get in there and I'm ace is the only goal I want. Because that's the top. There's bronze, silver, gold. And then if you do the ultimate time is ace. And so I've just been trying to ace every level. I think I'm about 3/4 of the way through the game as far as levels go, I'm pretty sure. And I've been trying to ace, except for the first boss, I've gotten an ace on every level, which has been so much fun. I want more. I've been telling my friends to buy it just so I can go against their scores on the leaderboards, because I just want to keep playing these levels and getting better times, because for some reason the global leaderboards aren't working for me. I don't know why, but it's been strange. But yeah, so that's been so much fun. That is a game that. So let me break down a little bit what's going on, because there is so much happening within the game itself. So first off, okay, you start off, boom, start. Okay, there's a timer going. You got enemies. They're demons, right? You have a number of demons on the side of the screen. You got to get through the level, kill all the demons, get to the end point at the lowest time possible. But you always have to kill all the demons, which makes things interesting, because you can't just rush to the end of the level. You got to make sure everyone's done. And all of your cards are different weapons. So you have one that's an Uzi, you have one that's a rifle, a pistol. But these cards, they have an alternate fire option. So for example, the pistol, you can shoot it a few times, but if you use the alternate fire, it burns the card, and then you get a double jump. What? And then you have the machine gun, which alternate fire is it shoots out a bomb that can kill multiple enemies, and if you're in its vicinity, also gives you a super jump. Then you got the Uzi. which is, spray and pray, but then you hit that and you can do a super stomp. So if you jump off of a high ledge, you're trying to get to the ground faster to kill your time or get your time down, do the super stomp. And then it kills all the enemies there and you're invulnerable. And then the shotgun has a fiery dash that is omnidirectional, and the rifle has a dash that just one direction, but it's faster. So, as you can see, there's a lot going on there. And also, you move faster on water. There's water, too. And the levels are very vertical. So you are doing all sorts of crazy maneuvers. I mean, this game is so intense. It's the best. It is so much fun. I mean, you are just booking through these levels. It is amazing. And so by the time, there's certain levels where you're like, okay, wow. Like, you'll start out and you're like, how do I cut 5 seconds off for Ace? I do not get how I can do this. Well, oh wait, I get a rifle at the beginning. Oh wait, I don't have to hit that glass with my sword after I burn a dash. I can just shoot the glass at the beginning. And then also, instead of burning my double jump with the pistol I get, immediately taking the long way around to the 2 balloon demons, what I can do is I can shoot both of them, stop, turn 180 degrees, use my double jump, cut half off the level, then dash to the final guy, and then, oh my god, now I'm 5 seconds below Ace. And it's like, whoa. If you like speedrunning or acrobatics or any kind of agility shooters, or even just those old Counter-Strike maps that are all about agility and getting to the end point in the fastest time, Neon White is just a wonderful game. Ben Esposito, you have outdone yourself once again. I love Donut County. That was just a super chill, fun experience that was super easy. Then Neon White's just like, what? This is awesome. This is my kind of game. I mean, it's going to be up there for Games of the Year. I mean, I'm having a blast with it. That thing is just, whoo. Oh, it's good. It is a goddamn good time. I'll tell you that. So, Neon White, fucking incredible. Going back through Breath of the Wild. That's been a blast, as I talked about. What else have I been playing? What else? Oh, I have been playing some, what is it, Kirby Save Dreamland? Return to Dreamland? I'm sorry. The new 3D Kirby game. That's all post-apocalypse. It's like Kirby Last of Us. I've been playing a little bit of that. It's great. You gotta love curves, right? It's fucking fun. What, he's the guest. I don't even have much to say. It's Kirby. Do you like Kirby? Do you like floating and stealing people's powers and having a chill time with a great soundtrack? You're gonna love that game then. I'm having a blast with it so far. So I think that's kind of everything I've been playing. I talked about the Modern Warfare 2 beta last week. And also we got Overwatch 2 releasing today, which is, come on, what is that? What is that really? It just seems like an update. That's really all it feels like. I loved Overwatch when it came out. I really disliked when they started moving it in more of an esports landscape, more esports lens. And that game was best as a casual game. I thought Overwatch was great because it kind of felt like the Smash Brothers of shooters. Like, okay, this is just a fun time. People can take it really seriously if they want to, but it's kind of fun that it's kind of all over the place and nuts, And so the first year, I went hard at Overwatch 1. Then year 2, I played it a good bit. I'm like, okay, this is cool. And I started falling off. Then once they did the forced roles, you couldn't play them with more than one class or something, I kind of fell off. So I'm going to check out Overwatch 2. It's free to play now. Might as well check it out. Haven't played it in years, and just kind of see what's going on there. Check out the new heroes. We'll see. Blizzard's been a mess. Activision's been a mess. I don't think. It seems like, besides Diablo 4, nothing they've really been talking about has been really exciting me in their whole portfolio. And I guess Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2 is going to be fun. It's going to be a good time. Come on. Of course it is. It's Infinity Ward, and they've been killing it recently. And I think that game's just going to be just really fun, They are expanding the whole kind of portfolio of gameplay and the menagerie of what you can do in a way that's been, I think, really exciting. Especially with all the systems. I talked about it kind of ad nauseum in the last episode, but I do, dude, just still, getting in that helicopter, being able to walk around the helicopter and use it as a mobile sniper's nest, as well as spawn beacon for your team, was like, wow, that's really fun. I wish Battlefield did this. It felt better than Battlefield, which is crazy because COD's never even come close to what the highs of Battlefield. So the fact that they did a little bit, I'm like, whoa, this could be cool. So very excited for that. And as far as, everything else goes, that's it. That's kind of been everything as far as the gaming's been going. I'm really excited for God of War Ragnarok. We'll talk about more of that when that comes out. I'm stoked for that. When that shit drops, we'll be going ham. And then we got, is there anything else to talk about? Plague Hotel Requiem, God of War Ragnarok, new Call of Duty, Mountain 2 Bannerlord comes out finally or Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord finally comes out on console. That's about it. It's been such a loaded year for indies in the first half of the year. At the back half, it's weird actually. We kind of have like a slim fall. No Assassin's Creed. No, as far as big games go, nothing from Rockstar, nothing from Bethesda. No big Ubisoft game this fall. It's kind of just it's just basically you got Call of Duty, Overwatch 2 if it starts picking up some steam. But and God of War Ragnarok. That's really the biggies. I think this was supposed to be the year of Starfield, right, this fall, and that wasn't ready. And we'll see how that is. I mean, I'm very excited for Starfield. Tentatively, I'm going to play it free on Game Pass, so I am really excited. I got, it's going to be really easy for me just to pick up and play. So I am stoked. I think I'm going to have a great time with Starfield. However, we shall see. Bethesda's been in a weird spot. What they do so well, no one ever even touched what they did before. Then you had Breath of the Wild, now Elden Ring this year. I hope, my biggest thing with Starfield is I hope it relies on storytelling. Because here's the thing. The one thing that Elden Ring nor Breath of the Wild did, or have done, or will do, I don't think, is tell stories like some of those Bethesda side quests. They're so magical. That's what made Oblivion great. The combat's not good in Oblivion. The exploration's cool, but it's because you're looking for stories. You want to find weird little, narratives sprinkled throughout the world and get to know the people that live there. That's something that other studios still haven't figured out, including some of the best games ever made, I think, Breath of the Wild and Elden Ring, is that magic of following a story and knowing there's things out there and experiences to be had and people to meet that will really actually change your life a little bit, like good fiction, it's cool. So Starfield gets that, they win. I don't need the best combat, I don't need the best graphics. I want cool stories. Let me meet weird, interesting people on weird planets. Let me figure out about new cultures and religions that, govern entire solar systems, that kind of thing. I'm hoping that their whole idea of kind of what they, started doing in Fallout 4 with the base building and the crafting and the material gathering, the survival, I don't like that stuff. That's not me. That's not why I go to Bethesda games. It never has been. I would play Minecraft. Or Rust. Those are two amazing survival games that have all that. Bethesda games I go to for their stories, for their worlds. And it's not just the world design. I love the art, but it's the stories in those worlds. So if Starfield has that, I don't care about the combat. Combat can be whatever. I'm sure it's going to be fine. I don't care about the systems. I don't care about leveling up. Give me stories. Let me explore that universe and get lost in it. And meet people. That's how it feels. Like when those games fire on all cylinders, it's like, oh, they're kind of like your little digital friends that you get to have this experience with. It's like when I first read, Lord of the Rings, or when my dad first read it to me when I was a kid, Fellowship of the Ring, or even further back, The Hobbit. When I was like in first grade, my dad read me The Hobbit, and I felt like I knew everyone, and that's the magic of fiction. And I think, what I don't think people are talking about with Starfield is it's got to be good fiction. They're creating a new sci-fi universe. Like, give me a reason to love it. That's all I want from that game. Give me a reason to fall in love with the characters in the world, and then I'm in. Then bada bing, bada boom. I'll explore, I'll fight, I'll craft, I'll hunt. But I need that story. I need that love of the character, which Fallout 4 I felt faltered at, even though it's one of the best open worlds. I think it's a great, as far as open worlds go explorationally, or that's not a word. As far as the exploration goes in Fallout 4, it's really incredible, but the stories kind of fell flat for me. I didn't have that emotional connection I did. Besides, like, Nick Valentine, who's, like, the best character ever. He's a great guy. But, so that is, I think that's a good way to end it, talking about Starfield. That is episode 2 of Spilly Cave's show. Thanks for tuning in. Okay? If you have any questions that you would like answered on the podcast, I'm going to be adding an email segment where I go through and answer emails from fans. And that email is spillycavepodcast@gmail.com. Okay? Once again, spillycavepodcast@gmail.com. You email that email. You send a message that way. I'll get it, and we will have an email section in the show where we answer your questions and talk about them. Okay? So, do that if you want to have your questions answered live on the show. Okay? So thank you for tuning in. This has been another show, another day in the life. I hope you have a great week. And remember that, it must pass, whatever it is. You got it. You're doing great. You're killing it. Okay? It's going to be okay. That's life. So thanks for tuning in. Until the next time, see you later. This is Spilly Cave out.